we have this shovel handle, and it's just this little connection is all that's holding its rigidity, and so it flexes quite a bit. So we're just going to take this chunk of steel and then just weld it right here and there. All right, hell yeah. So I have to practice what I preach, because this video is like, hey, I have this welder and I've used it a lot, but it's still a tool, and I don't mind doing a bad job. So that's what we're going to do. We're just kind of do the worst we can. You know, it'd be like grabbing a pair of scissors and just, hey, we're just going to cut crooked, you know what I mean, just to rough it out. Now, here's the analogy, is like, would you not own a pair of scissors if you couldn't cut perfectly straight? You know what I mean? Because that's the analogy of not owning a welder. And I got to practice what I preach, because I have hardly done any soldering at all. I did my first soldering project last summer, and I did a bad job, actually, and I'm glad I did, because I learned a lot. So you should always find projects where you're just like, hey, if I totally botch this, it doesn't matter, and I'll learn a lot in the process. Like, how bad of a job could you do? But anyway, I mean, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm just gonna put 2 tacks right there, 2 tacks right there, and call it good. If I do experiment, I might actually just hit this, just put a bunch of weld right there to kind of preheat it, so then when I go in and tack up against here, it'll just juice in there. Now, but hell yeah, and I might melt the plastic, but it's just like, who cares? So anyway, so we have our welder plugged in, and this one's pretty sweet. It just plugs into the wall, 115 volts. Now, I would recommend this one. With the flux core, if you get Lincoln Electric wire, that's you know what I mean? And this stuff is great, because it can power through rust and paint. Like, flux core means that, man, it can actually penetrate. They use it on ships, you know what I mean? So it is a process that's at the highest and advanced level of welding, and then also at the lowest, just because you can just throw this wire in, no gas, no setup, and just pull the trigger. So hell yeah. And the cool thing about, the best thing about this is, well, it's designed for flux core. Where my other welder, I need to get a different knurled bit, because if I jam this in, you know what I mean, that thing just spins. And that's what I need to figure out on my other Lincoln Electric, because I should just use it for gas only. But the teeth on there grip so tight that it just bird's nest, you know what I mean? You have continuity. If that thing's spinning, wire's got to be moving. So if you stop that velocity right there, then you know what I mean, you'll just bird nest your wires. All right, so, and with these videos, I don't have a fancy camera. You'll just see sparks, but we'll see the finished product. So catch you on the flip side. All right, hell yeah, here's a quick tip. I use these gloves. Now, nitrile, it could melt, but we just use a cotton glove. These are cheap as, find them for like $1 each, and then booyah. So what this allows me to do is really hold my piece. You know, we kind of already burned through it, but it'll get the job done. So I just want to emphasize that being able to hold, you know, something precisely is pretty important, especially if you don't have jigs. So these gloves come in very handy for holding something precise. Alright, so that was the first weld, so we can at least show what we did. So I started way early and, you know, got that heat, and you can see that it's all rounded and beaded. You know what I mean? That's kind of a cold weld. But then as I go in, hell yeah, I can actually get just a really hot tack, and so that's what we did. And I'm sure it melted the plastic, but hell yeah, it's just fine. We could even throw a little snow on there, but we won't. I'm fine with that. So booyah. I might be good on that, you know what I mean? But now we'll hit it on the other side too. But let's get these two, hit it on the other side, and have some snow just to shock it, so we don't just melt the plastic. So now I can take these gloves off, because that thing's permanent. And this is the only hand that kind of gets sparked up. I just kind of use this glove for my trigger hand. The sparks usually don't hit. But yeah, even this is enough for the sparks not to burn your hand. So hell yeah. Alright, hell yeah. But we're going to go over like the quickest and easiest. Sometimes it's really hard to find that exact location. So I'm going to try to target right in the middle, just add a bunch of heat, and then slowly move to this corner, and then just kind of do that, you know what I mean? It's just like no technique at all, but you're at least understanding the physics, that you need heat melting, and then you can come to this edge, and then it'll instantly melt in way better than trying to start from scratch. you know, burning that and trying to melt a nice little corner. So hell yeah. Oh yeah, and I kind of messed up anyway. I kind of did a bad job. I don't know why I thought there was like plastic behind there. So no, we can really hit it. But there you go. I got a big old heat and then went to the corner. And then I kind of just started globbing out. That was kind of dumb. But hell yeah, let's try to clean that up. Alright, hell yeah. So all we did was just kind of move it around. Now, you use proper technique. You go high, you go low. You try to stitch it to the ends because that's where it's not going to glob, you know what I mean? And so you give it a place to flow flat, even though it's kind of at a tilted angle. Alright, hell yeah, let's do the other side. Alright, hell yeah, I tried to do the other side as best as I could, so we'll show you a different angle. But we got one more weld. We're gonna finish like seaming that up, hell yeah, and get some snow at the ready. Alright, hell yeah, so let's take a look at our welds, you know what I mean? So let's maybe get into a better light. I don't know what's the best light, but I'll just try to get as close as possible. So hell yeah, we got a nice little weld there. Let's check that one out. Hell yeah. Yeah, man. Just, and this one actually turned out really good. Looks like it's supposed to. But even if it was just god awful and just a bunch of molten metal, hell yeah, you know what I mean? It'll stick, and it doesn't take very much metal to be pretty damn strong. So alright, booyah. Alright, hell yeah, we did it, and check it out. So this thing is way rigid, you know what I mean? Like, hey, that metal ain't moving, now just the plastic is. And so hopefully we just didn't just totally destroy it. But I guess we only have a couple screws on here. But mainly what was happening is that this plastic was moving this metal. So now the only thing that could fail are these two bolts. They could just rip out of the shovel. But hell yeah.